some stories. John's going to share some stories with us, and that's all we have to do in our business. It's just share stories. We don't have to sell anything, just share our stories. So John, over to you.
Thank you, Brenda, and good evening to you. And once again, good evening to everyone on the call tonight. And happy Mother's Day again to all the moms. Got a couple of stories for you tonight, membership stories. This first one is from a member who received a ding on her credit report from a collection account for $138 from her cell phone provider. The problem is the dispute in question was from 4 years ago. So she spoke with the collection agent, and the collection agent says, well, how about if we just settle for half of what you owe? And she says, no, I don't know anything. She called her cell provider. The dispute in question was so long ago, they didn't have it on their records because the cell provider was owned by someone else back then. So she did the smart thing and got Legal Shield involved. Legal Shield wrote a letter not only to the existing cell provider, but the old one as well, and copied the FCC for this issue. And lo and behold, 2 weeks later, the $138 collection issue was gone, and she has peace of mind. So she is certainly Legal Shield for life, as based on that. Once again, the power of our membership. The other member story is a personal one. I have, well, not a personal, but it's affected me personally. One of my church members got the membership from me. She also has the Home Business Supplement and ID Shield, but this is a membership story. Like many people, she received unemployment compensation during the pandemic, and she was glad to get it. Unfortunately, she recently got a letter from the government stating that she owed that money back to the tune of $16,000. You can imagine the terror that enfolded her when she got that letter. But she knew that she had Legal Shield. She contacted them. They said, we see this all the time. There was a number of letters that needed to be written. There was some forms involved. She's still going through the process, but she's very confident that she will have a positive outcome. What would she have done had she not had this membership? She's Legal Shield for life. Back to you. Back to you, Brenda.
Thanks, John, very much. Okay, I am so excited. It's Mother's Day. It's Derby time here. Just had the Derby. And I am excited that someone, a woman, agreed to come on tonight to be our special guest. I consider her a dear friend, a mentor. Her name is Stephanie Baker. She is a $50,000 ring earner. She is a 2,000 app, I'll say earner. And she is also an amazing B2B field trainer. And I'm very lucky because she's in my backyard. She's about an hour away towards the Lexington area. So none other, we have tonight Miss Stephanie Baker. Stephanie, you there?
Yes, I am, Brenda. Can you hear me?
Absolutely.
Great.
Welcome.
Thank you so much for that wonderful introduction and wonderful stories. I was actually taking note from Mr. Bradley's stories. I had been concerned that a lot of this unemployment might come back to haunt people. So that's the first story I've heard. I took note of that to use. So thank you for sharing those stories. And thank you for inviting me on tonight. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. Brenda just told me to share a little bit about my background. And so actually 14 years this April is my 14th year with PPLSI, Legal Shield. And like many of you, all of us, right? This information was shown to me. I actually am from Richmond, Kentucky. That's where I am right now, in my home. But I actually was living out in Austin, Texas, 14 years ago. And I was shown to me actually by my father, Manly Wilson. He's a $100,000 ring earner, him and Barbara. And he was actually shown the business by a family member of ours who knew Mr. Harlan Stonecipher. But she had failed to share this great service with us. And she's married to my uncle, which this was my dad's sister-in-law. So note number one, never, ever, ever forget to share this information with your family and everyone you come into contact with. But I saw the information. It made sense to me, right? I was at that time, my background is nursing and real estate. I was working oncology. So when I saw the information, the thing that really stood out to me was the will preparation, especially the living will, the medical directives. I saw this every day in my work. And my story is that the two brothers that loved each other an hour ago, I was calling security for on my floor because now they were fist fighting in the hallway. True story. Because mom didn't have their love letter in place, right? So for me, it just made sense. I was like, where's this been my whole life? I needed to update my own will. And I had actually, I was a realtor. I had been in multi-level marketing. I was always looking for that business. And I'd been successful in other networking companies, but they all ended up for me landing me back to the point of like getting you work so hard to get here and it's like you got to start all over if you don't miss quota, you know what I mean? So it made sense. I'm not one of those people that had to see the information multiple times before the video was over. I was signed up as an associate, but I did not know it was going to be a career for me. I knew that it made sense. I knew that if it didn't work out, I could cancel the service. True story. But I also knew that if I was going to share it with people, why not get paid? And kind of what happened, I was coachable. They said, do this, do this. Back then we had to do a lot more numbers to get promoted. But I was able, even with strangers, right? I was living in a town I did not grow up in. So really I was just following my dollar. Who was I spending money with? And in the nosy neighbors that didn't know us yet, I invited to my house to watch a DVD. And they showed up because they wanted to know, hey, what's your house look like? And anyway, ended up promoting. What happened was very spare time. It started bringing in income. First it was the car payment, then the mortgage, and one day on a very, very short break at the hospital, two of my coworkers said, "Hey, what is this thing you're doing?" And literally, you all, we had about 15 minutes. I worked oncology. You don't get breaks, let me tell you. It was a crazy active floor. So literally with a little flip book in the break room, they both saw the value. They signed up. I was a director level at that time. I made $400 on my break. And after going home, missing time with my daughter, family, I realized I probably should pay a little bit more attention to this opportunity. So I started diligently putting in 10 to 14 hours a week. That was it. That included my meetings, my team calls. And I was able to leave that job and real estate behind in less than 2 years. My daughter was 8 years old when I came into this business, and I had missed the first 8 years of her life. I was this is a great day because I get to be a mom, right? But I'd missed a lot of her life. She was at the babysitter when she took her first steps. I mean, it was horrible. You're right. So this company allowed me to no longer miss any of those moments as a mom. My daughter will be 22 in November. Hard to believe. From that point on, about 12 years ago, I was able to work from home and build a fulfilling career and have a business that still is paying me 14 years later on memberships I wrote 14 years ago, right? That residual income. But most of all, it allowed me not to have to miss any more of those moments. I was able to be in the morning school line, the pickup line, the soccer games, the dance recitals, the graduations. All the kids, when my daughter was growing up, hung out at our house, right? Because I was the mom that was available. And now my daughter is a senior manager with Legal Shield herself. She's actually in nursing school. It's just been great to not only never miss those moments while helping my family. I was able to go out and help other families free themselves as well. But it also allowed me to take my daughter on trips and be around like-minded people that otherwise I would have never been exposed to. Mr. John Drennan's on here, Brenda. Many, many people have mentored me over the years. And I was able to put my daughter in front of those people, and they poured into her even at 14, 15. It's just a mindset, right? If you've been with us a while, you know, it's not really about our services. They sell themselves. The difference is the mindset that you and I get that gives us the posture to go out and share this service and opportunity with everyone, right? So yes, this company has been phenomenal. It's pays me almost six figures residual. I'm still active though. I'm still growing a team. I still go out and enroll companies, business owners, networking. I do it all. I'm a full service associate. It's just been the best career decision I've ever made. So that's a little bit about my story, and the story's not done. Life changes, in the last 3 years have certainly been a massive change for all of us, right? But I don't know about you. I'm grateful for residual income, and I'm grateful for a company that even before COVID had us on a Zoom platform like we're on tonight, so that our business did not have to completely close, right? Like so many out there. I think now more than ever, people are looking for us, and they're looking for our opportunity to have that flexibility, to not be dictated what our worth is, right? You want to be able to decide to give yourself a raise, right? When you need that and feel you deserve that. So that's what PPLSI is to me. So
Right.
Brenda, feel free to ask any questions,
That's
or
awesome.
I'm an
Well,
open
Stephanie,
book.
I'm very gracious to you, and definitely you've always showed up everything we've had when we could go to events here in Louisville, and I know you work with one of my associates, Chris Wilkes, because I know she's not as active in the business, and you help her with her accounts. What I would like to know, Stephanie, is did you immediately, what part of the will, our circle, did you go in a group immediately, or did you just start out with some, one-to-one memberships? How did you know you wanted to go to group? Because you were, you're B2B or group trainer.
Yes, great question. And I appreciate that question, because yeah, I know we have people on here probably that have been around a while, and some, and people only see you at where they meet you, right? They don't see the journey, if they've not been around for that. So, like I said, I was working 12-hour shifts at the hospital. I was also a realtor. My daughter was young. I had a family, and I had in-laws living with me at that time that I needed to care for. So when people go, I'm busy, I don't have time, I go, I know exactly how you feel. I felt the same way, truth. But like I said, I didn't know it was going to be a career. But once it did become, I built on the networking side, right? Because you can do B2B without doing B2B. But remember, we didn't have the training and the setup that we have today for that side of the business. So I only knew to network at that time, nights, weekends, when I was off work, follow your dollar. And we should do that, right? We should be building a team. What happened, and this is my story, is when I was able to leave my job, I suddenly found myself at home, right, during the day, going, where's my team? What do I do? Because I had built a networking team, which was great, but most of them, right, like most people, build on a part-time basis. So they were at their jobs. They needed me nights and weekends, right? We were going to Super Saturdays, our weekly meetings. And I'm not going to lie, I was a little lost it took me several months to get into a groove. And then I was like, okay, what do I do? And I was like, well, you better go find people that are available during the day. So of course I joined the chamber. I looked for every networking group. I never have been a member of BNI, but a lot of people have great luck with that. But I just got out of the house and I just started networking. And then who was I around? Business owners, right? That's who was available during the day. So that's really how I got into the B2B space, was just by what do I do next? And then that kind of grew and grew. And of course, today I would say it's about 85% of my business. And now I still network, but I build a team of brokers. So as that evolved, I was around insurance agents. And so I started recruiting, professional sales folks, and agencies. So I have I kind of, like you said, I'm a full service associate, but that is how it evolved for me. And then I found out once I went through all the growing pains that I actually enjoyed this side of the business as well. And so, yeah, that's exactly how it evolved for me. And I tell people, you learn this sometimes the hard way. I will never forget the day that I was at work and I had recruited someone who was not an insurance agent, but most of their contacts were business owners. And we didn't have field trainers back then. And they got in front of a large company. If I said the name, you would know it because it's kind of known statewide. They have about 300 employees. She said, I have a meeting with the owner of the company. And guess where I was? At work. I was at my job. And she was really new in the business. And so I couldn't take off work to be there. I knew more about the product and how to present it, so she went, and I'm sure she did a great job, but nothing ever came of that. And it took years to get back in front of that company, not because she did a horrible job, right? But because use your field trainers. Now we have all of these things in place. We didn't back then, but that ate at me, Brenda. I felt like I had failed her as a new associate. And I just realized, so that was another transition for me to kind of get out of my job, right? This was becoming more of my heart space, than even my nursing career. So that's I've just never forgotten that. And I thought no one should ever have to go through that. And I'm so grateful that PPLSI put the training in place that we have today in the field trainers so that people don't have to go out. So you can build a B2B team while you are on your job now. You can be confident in knowing that you can go to work if you have a job and still build a lucrative Legal Shield business on both the networking and the B2B side, because there are folks in place that can go help your teammates now.
Thank you, Stephanie. I'm curious, what's some of your goals or one of your goals right now in Legal Shield?
Great question. January started out, we had COVID for the second time. And so I had all these goals and the way the year was going to go. And, the universe had other plans. So it delayed a little bit. But my goal right now, is honestly, I'm not going to lie, folks. Mentally, I've been talking to a lot of my mentors throughout Legal Shield that make way more than me. And we're all coming back into this space of getting to be in person again, right? So my goal right now is opening new groups and really recruiting. I mean, all aspects of my business. My husband, my wonderful new husband, we will be married a year in May. He's really building our networking team, which is great. And I'm helping with that. We're doing the Zoom. So my goal is to open a lot of new groups this year and to gain a lot of new team members, right? Because so many people are hurting out there. They're looking for extra income. They need the extra income. So I feel like I'm kind of like building my business all over again. It doesn't mean that my business isn't paying me really, really well, but I'm kind of excited. I feel like I'm just going to have a mindset that I'm brand new in the business, which we should always have.
Awesome.
But that's where I'm at right now, because I do have some longer term goals, just things for kids. I don't have grandbabies yet. I've gained two wonderful stepchildren, and we kind of have a vision down the road that we want to own a farm and be able to have our family build homes on that farm. And so I've kind of set some new goals, and part of that is growing my business even more. So
great. Well, we've got about 3 minutes left, and I would like to ask you, I'm your new associate, okay? You just recruited me. So how are you going to get me started?
Absolutely. Great question. I think, we've got all the tools in place, right? Check. Legal PPLSI has all the tools and training that any of us could need to be successful with or without a sponsor. So, right? One thing that I do with a new associate is try to have a heart to heart with them. right? We can go through, we can tell you how to download your apps and get on your training and how to get your bonus and how to earn this much. And all of those things are lined out for us, 100%, right? You could literally have no one helping you and figure that out between, your back office and even the corporate office. Um, I believe spending time with a new associate, if they allow you, is one asking, are you coachable? Do I have permission to coach you? Because you've got to know who you're working with, right? You can't force people. You've got to know, are these people that are just, they're going to be around and they may sell one a month, or are these people that have certain goals? So finding out what their true goals are and asking deeper questions like, oh yeah, I need an extra 500 a month. Okay, great. Well, I can show you how to do that. But what kind of commitment do you have for this business? How many hours a week are you willing to draw the line in the sand and really commit to your business, to your future? Because I think oftentimes, and I've done it in the past, I've been so excited about a new associate, right? I'm so excited. Yay. And they're excited. But sometimes we have to have a posture of really digging in with that person, finding out what their why really is. Because, that saying, your why should make you cry in some way. Because we all know you're going to get told no. We all know that, the people you thought would support you won't. The people you thought were going to be through on this journey till the end will quit along the way. So I'm learning, are you willing to watch the videos, read the books, do the self-development? Because I believe that's what really keeps an associate long term and successful. Because if you quit, you can't, right? You might even get to executive director. But if you quit, you're never going to know, right? You're never going to know how far you could go. So for me, that's really it. The other stuff is lined out. We can all go through that, right? With the check mark, but just personal, get personal with that person if they allow you and find out, so you can kind of go back to them and remind them, of their why. So
That's great. Stephanie, I mean, I could talk an hour with you, but I know it's still Mother's Day evening. So appreciate you just sharing your time with us, and love to have you on again in the future.
thank you.
And thank you so much. And I know everyone that's on tonight got some nuggets or even boulders from you. So thank you so very much.
Thank you so much for having me on. Appreciate all of you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Thank
All
you.
right, everybody, we're going to go now to Chuck Dodge, and we're going to go into our breakout rooms.
This is Jane Lehman. And Stephanie, will you be staying on, or will you be leaving?
Because, no, I can stay on a little bit longer. Yeah.
Cool. Because we're going out into breakout rooms. Chuck Dodge could not be on tonight, everyone. So tonight, we're going into breakout rooms to meet each other, ask each other some questions, and it's going to be 5 minutes, just 2.5 minutes per person. Get to know your team, and we'll see you back here in just a little bit. Okay? So I'll let you know the halfway point. And the whole point of this is to get to know each other, to do 3-way calls. We talked about that before, right? So off we go. Oh, I see some people. We lost some people. Let's see. But off you go. Just accept your rooms. There they go. Did I lose Stephanie? Where's she? Did you all join your room? Stephanie. No. Shoot. Didn't want to do that. Whoops. Okay, y'all, are you not joining? Bobby,